the Hawks are going to have to do that if they intend to beat the Celtics. It cannot be a tale of two halves situation when the other team, the home team, is playing 48 minutes of solid basketball. Yeah, they may have had a few moments. I'll give them 45 or 46. But ultimately, what
Sleep.
we're
Yeah.
saying is, yeah, I mean, everybody takes off a play or two, right? But what
Right.
we're talking about is a complete game that we saw from the Celtics. Whereas for the Hawks, we kind of saw a complete half a game, maybe.
Yeah.
And, it's interesting because obviously the glaring stat is the Hawks being 5 of 29 from beyond the arc versus the Celtics being 13 of 33, nearly 40% shooting.
Yeah.
But Jarvis, there are some other things that we can unpack and that need to be unpacked because when you're down 30 points, it's about more than just missing three pointers. It's
Yeah.
about more than just that. So, my question is in terms of this series, how do the Hawks put themselves in position to still be able to make it competitive?
Defense, defense, defense. T. When you like 3-point shooting teams, which it seems like every team in the NBA in today's game is a 3-point shooting team, you're going to
Yes.
have bad shooting nights. What do you do? What's the foundation that you set when you have bad shooting nights? It's basically focusing in or locking in on defense. I know that's what Quin Snyder wants to do because he always talked about like it's in it, defense is all about effort. And the one thing that super concerned me, and it just kind of got me to thinking about long term, because that's where we are with the team. We think long term because, like I said, no expectations for this team. We talked about how we have expectations for the Braves. We don't have any expectations for the Hawks. And I think T is okay with me saying that. You see how she's nodding her head? Yeah, that's how we roll here. So I think that when you have a guy like DeAndre Hunter, T, the way he played and looked lost on defense, and you talking about this is a guy that was defensive player of the year in college at Virginia, and this was what he was brought in for, being a two-way guy. And we've seen him be a guy that can play some defense and shoot the ball well. He just absolutely looked lost. Like, hey, we got a game this weekend? Oh, we got a game on Saturday? Oh, okay, all right, I'll be there. But the way when I know he was going up against guys like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and I get it. But it was just on simple stuff, little backdoor cuts, just looking lost, standing flat-footed, don't know what's going on, and him, and John Collins right there along with him too as well. And I'm just like, man, where the things that you've learned in these last 21 games. Like I'm gonna throw Nate McMillan's era for this season. I'm gonna throw that out the window. Just in these last 21 games, what you've learned from Quin Snyder, like, did it just go out the window? Because I think there's one thing they say about, as far as forming habits, it takes about 30 days to form a habit. I guess 21 games wasn't enough, T, because they just fell right back into what we got used to seeing before Quin Snyder took over. And that concerns me, especially talking about from in the short term for a game leading up to game 2 and for the long term as well, whether those guys are going to even be around on this squad.
Yeah, and it made me think as you were talking, I was like, do I want to go in the direction of basketball IQ and mindset and focus, or do I want to go in the direction of
Goodness.
stats, or do I want to actually
We
put
talked
them
about that
together?
too on
Right.
Friday. Basketball
Exactly.
IQ.
And
It's
I think I'm
huge.
going to put them together
Right.
because when you look at offensive rebounding, you do have to be focused. You have to assume not that the basketball is going to go in the net. You have to
Yeah.
assume that it's not. And where do you need to be position wise on the floor, whether it's a short, a long rebound and you get a fresh 24, or whether you're right under the basket and you just need to tip that ball back in. But where is that? You walked into this series as the number one team with second chance points during the Quin Snyder era,
Yeah.
the number 2 team in offensive rebounds. How in the world was it that, yeah, you had 2 more offensive rebounds than the Celtics, but that's not going to cut it when overall they're out rebounding you by a 13 rebound clip defensively, or overall, and
Yeah.
defensively is where they're winning on the boards. Then you at least have to win on the boards on offense in order to make it a game. The other piece there is this: when you talk about turnovers, 17 Celtics turnovers. Why? Only 12 points off those turnovers. You have got to convert when you're given the opportunity on a team like that. You don't have a choice. Now, one of the maybe encouraging signs was points in the paint, kind of, sort of. But again, it goes back to not if your response to what happened on Saturday was that you guys didn't really have the right focus. And of course, I'm paraphrasing some of what John
Right.
Collins said, but you didn't have the right focus, or you guys have to get your minds in the game or get your heads right or whatever. It's game one in an opening round that you were not even guaranteed to get in, and you beat the snot out of a team that has had your
Come
number for the
on,
last
T.
couple of seasons, and you know that the Celtics
T.
drug you this season. All of those things together, Jarvis, and you got 4 to 5 days to plan for this team. You can't say that you guys weren't mentally prepared or mentally ready to get after it. That's just
T.
not acceptable.
Can I say this? I am so tired of John Collins opening his damn mouth every time somebody sticks a microphone in his face and talking about things that needs to be done. Because here's the thing, like, you're always the person that you're speaking to, and what the thing that I get off on is that a lot of times when leaders speak up, like, they are speaking up for the guys that are the culprits, right? And kind of adding themselves into the equation
Yes.
because they know that they're giving their all, they're doing what they're supposed to do. Because hey, good players most of the time are going to be your leaders. But if if you're the culprit, I just talked about how defensively DeAndre Hunter and John Collins, they look like they were just lost on defense.
Yeah.
And for you to come out at the end of the game and start talking about we weren't mentally, no, I don't care. I don't care. I don't need to hear that anymore. I am so sick and tired of this dude always talking about pointing out stuff. Stop pointing out stuff and just play damn better. Because this is ridiculous. Like, you have been in this league for a very long time. The Hawks rewarded you with your bread and all that stuff. All this stuff you've been in trade rumors, all that stuff, dude. Like, when are you going to just sit out here and lock down? You're like, you know what? I got to play better, and that's it. Like, and just own it. Own that stuff, T.
But you
I'm
know what?
tired of that.
Right, and to piggyback off of that, don't even say, I got to play better. I will play better. And then go out and
Yeah.
actually do it. Because one thing I will say about DeJounte Murray, whenever he has that off game, and even if others have the off game, to your point, he's going to point to himself to try to take a little bit of that
The
heat off
man in
the
the
others.
mirror. The
But the
man in the
next
mirror is the
game
problem.
out,
Yes.
exactly. But the next game out, typically he is going to bounce back. And
Exactly.
he's going to put together typically a string of games where we can get some solid two-way play from him. The challenge is this: John Collins and DeAndre Hunter, you guys have got to do better. Like it Clint Capella, he did what he needed to do. So
Right.
I can't lay the feet, at that particular big man, if you will. I can't
Right.
lay that
Yeah.
at his feet, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you think about like the bench. Yeah, okay. Bench kind of had an off night. Hopefully they'll bounce back as well, because we're definitely going to need the second unit to show up the same way that the Celtics second unit showed up, right? And they
Right.
they were only an 8-man rotation, but they got all they needed out of that 8-man
Yes.
rotation.
They did.
And that to me is the thing. Like, everybody, speak to us out of respect for us as media, but keep it brief and just show it. Every man has got to do his job tomorrow. Like, there are just no excuses, because remember too, Jarvis, the Celtics are on a mission. The
Yeah.
Celtics have always
Clearly.
felt like they
Clearly.
should have won that championship last year. They
Yep.
never ever backed down from thinking, okay, Warriors, you won it, but we should have. And so they came into the season with a serious, serious chip on their shoulders, and they're not going to let up on that. And when they smell blood, you know what they're capable of doing. But hey, listen, everydayers, you guys know what it is, because you guys bring us the comments, right? And we appreciate
Yes.
all the comments. And please keep telling us what your thoughts are. What do you guys think are the keys to the game for the Hawks in game 2 against the Celtics tomorrow night? Let us know your thoughts. We appreciate you guys for being our everydayers who've been with us at ATL Day Ones from day one. And so, as always, definitely check out ATL Ones Day Ones as your first stop, because when you guys stop by the show, we know and appreciate the fact that you tell others. So thanks again to our everydayers, whether you watch us on YouTube or you listen to us wherever you download your podcast. We appreciate you guys.